Imagine you wake up 10,000 years ago. No tools, no language in common with anyone nearby, just dirt under your nails and a strange itch in your brain telling you to build Wi-Fi. Let's get started. Wi-Fi needs a signal, and a signal needs four things that do not exist yet. Electricity that holds still long enough to use, a way to turn that electricity into something that travels, a listener that can pull it back out of the air, and a system that lets many signals share the same air without drowning each other out. Step 1. You need electricity that holds still. Right now, the only electricity your species has ever met is a spark, and sparks are a party trick, not power. Rub amber against wool, and it pulls in bits of straw. Everyone finds this delightful. Nobody has any idea what to do with it, because the spark jumps once and is gone. You need a current that keeps going instead of flickering and dying. The trick turns out to be metal, not amber. Stacked discs of two different metals with strips of wet cloth between them, and something strange happens. Current flows continuously for as long as the stack holds together. You, being the genius you are, don't even blink. Step 2, you need to send that current somewhere without a wire, and this is where most tinkerers quit. You cannot just shout electricity across a room. What you can do is push a magnet through a loop of wire and watch the loop answer back with a current of its own. No contact required. This part's obvious to you. Once you know electricity and magnetism are cousins like that, the next question is obvious. Can they travel together, on their own, through empty space? They can. Your village's most annoying know-it-all works this out sitting by the fire, purely by arguing it through out loud, before anyone has ever actually caught the wave in the act. It's just an argument for a while. Then somebody builds the gear to throw one of these waves and catch it again on the far side of camp, and the invisible thing the fire talker swore was true turns out to be real. You've basically solved it before anyone else finishes the sentence. You take that wave and throw it as far as you can, one loud pulse at a time, until a signal makes it clean across the valley. This is a genuine breakthrough, and it is nowhere close to Wi-Fi. Your system sends one signal to everyone in range at once, like a foghorn. Wi-Fi needs a room full of people all talking over the same air without anyone drowning anyone else out. Fun fact, an engineer named Marconi did this too, sending a wireless signal across the actual Atlantic Ocean. Getting there takes another century of unglamorous plumbing, a way to encode a message as pulses instead of one long tone, a way to amplify a whisper of a signal into something usable, and a way to shrink all of that equipment down from a room-sized cabinet to something that fits in your pocket. None of it is one dramatic leap. It's 1,000 engineers making the same box smaller year after year until it's small enough to not notice. Even with all of that sitting on the shelf, Wi-Fi still doesn't work indoors because a signal bounces off walls and furniture and arrives scrambled, and every fix anyone tries assumes you're broadcasting across open water, not across someone's living room. The fix comes from the last place anyone's looking. You've been chasing echoes in a canyon for an unrelated reason entirely, trying to figure out why your own voice keeps coming back garbled off the rock walls, and you realize the trick for untangling a bounced-around echo works just as well on a bounced-around radio signal. A canyon full of rock walls and a hut full of furniture turn out to have the exact same problem, and your fix becomes the actual spec that everyone will just call Wi-Fi. Not bad for someone who 10 minutes ago was rubbing amber on a sweater. Fun fact, real humans did this too. Radio astronomers in Australia cracked it while cleaning up signals from exploding stars. Build a small box that speaks in these pulses, tune it to a frequency nobody has to ask permission to use, and put a matching receiver in every device in the building. Now the part that actually matters. What do people do with it? Bars become the new status symbol. Whoever's hut sits closest to the router has the strongest signal, and within a season people are dragging their huts across the village, log by log, just to shave a few feet off the distance. The router didn't move once. Everyone else did. The village oracle used to be the only way anyone found out if a storm was coming, and now people just check the weather themselves off the network. Business dries up fast, so the oracle starts quietly sending out fake storm warnings a few times a moon, just often enough that people keep showing up at her fire to ask what else she knows. The kids figure out you can say more in less time if you stop finishing your words, and within a month, they've built an entire shorthand out of grunts and half-syllables that no elder in the village can parse. The elders call it disrespectful. The kids call it faster. Both of them are right. A traveling stranger shows up, selling a smooth stone. He swears, pulls in extra signal if you sleep with it under your pillow. Half the village buys one. The signal doesn't change. The stranger is 3 villages away before anyone notices. Nobody can see a signal, which turns out to be a problem, because anything invisible in this village gets blamed on spirits eventually. When the crops in the east field fail 2 seasons running, The family 2 huts over gets accused of hexing them through the network on the grounds that their hut is, annoyingly, the one with better bars. 2 hunters both spot the same stag and both send the same message to the group at nearly the same instant: mine. The kill goes to whoever the group believes moved first, and for the first time in this village's history, an argument about who saw something first gets settled by a stamped record instead of 2 men shouting louder than each other. The elder pulls up the record, reads the exact moment each message went out, and rules in favor of the hunter whose message landed 1 breath earlier. The losing hunter spends the rest of the season insisting the box is broken. The box is not broken. Nobody who invented the battery, or the coil, or the radio wave, or the router set out to make any of this happen. They wanted to talk to someone who wasn't in the room. What they built instead was a status symbol, a fortune teller with a new grift, a language the elders can't read, a stone-selling con artist, a superstition, and the first dispute in the village's history settled by a timestamp instead of volume. Which, if you think about it, is still mostly what a signal is for.
The signal never stopped needing you.
Subscribe so yours doesn't drop either.